So my name is Hans Hartnagel, Austrian Trade Commissioner based in New Delhi. I'm glad that you are participating today. Here from our Delhi office, we are responsible for India, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, Maldives, Bangladesh, and Nepal. And I'm very glad that from all over the region, we have participants. I think it's the right moment organizing this webinar together with the Austrian Business Agency and also with the Vienna Business Agency because of several reasons. First of all, one reason is the Brexit. So Austria, as part of the European Union, is becoming more and more attractive to Indian companies investing there. And investing in Austria, doing business in Austria, it's not only explore Austria as a new market, it's much more. There are new forms of cooperation. We have more and more Indian companies tying up with Austria, setting up a company there to explore other markets, further markets. Many Indian companies are using Austria hub as Vienna as a hub for the Eastern region, for all over Europe. And as I said before, there are new forms of cooperation, and it's not only cooperation, it's a learning experience, it's learning new cultures, it's learning new business culture. And I think it's a perfect combination with the Indian way to do business, compromising it and forming it together with the Austrian way of doing it. So as I said, there are new forms of cooperation which are already successful, which are a new model for the future. And we can see it in the figures. So last year we had a major increase of Indian investment in Austria. There was a major jump. It's over 1 billion euros investment from India in Austria. And it's not only this, what I said before, exploring new markets, it's also, after this COVID discussion, is exploring new supply chains. So Europe, Austria wants India as a reliable partner in the supply chain, and more business will come in that. And I'm also happy to announce that end of this month, we're organizing a business delegation from India, a fact-finding mission to Austria. We're going to visit end of the month, May, the Vienna Up, which is a very important startup event in Vienna. And after that, we're organizing a tour to the Austrian provinces, the Austrian different states, and having meetings there with chambers, important companies, and also having economic forums there. So with that, I end. I wish you a very interesting seminar, and I'm sure it's full with very interesting information to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nagel. Good morning for the audience in Austria, and good afternoon to the ones joining from Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, and the Maldives. Thank you very much for joining the webinar on Startup Connect Austria and how to launch your company in Austria and scale your company, especially in Vienna and all over Austria. I know everybody is waiting to hear from our expert from Austria today. Today, without further ado, I would like to request Mr. Jakob Sensik, Director, Strategic Investment, Africa and Middle East at ABA Invest in Austria. Over to you, Mr. Sensik.
Thank you, AJ, Mr. Singh, for the introduction. Could you share that I could start my presentation? First of all, I want to make a brief overview about the Austrian Business Agency, and later on I will talk in detail about the business location Austria and reasons to invest in Austria as a startup from your region. If you look at the Austrian Business Agency, Invest in Austria, who we are an Austrian federal consulting company and state-owned. Our services are free of charge, and we assist with information and the company formation. We support all sectors, also startups, entrepreneurs, and have a staff of 30 experienced employees. With an international network, we work close together with the Federal Chamber of Commerce, as we did today, and also a strong collaboration with regional agencies as the Vienna Business Agency. For the beginning, some key facts about Austria. Here you can see on this slide Austria in red. It's in the heart of Europe. an area of 83,872 square meters, a population of 8.9 million at the moment. The GDP per capita is 39,000, and the research quota is pretty high with 3.19, so it's higher than in Germany, for example. Austria is maybe known as tourism country, but it's not true. It's a false image abroad. It is a strong industrialized country because 28.5% of the GDP is from industry and only 15% is tourism. Tourism is only a smaller part in compared to France, Italy, or Spain. Important sectors in Austria are machinery, electronics, vehicles, chemicals, food. And Austria is also well known for its social and political stability. Here are some reasons to invest for international companies and startups in Austria. It's first of all the market. It's seen also as test market for the DACH region. This is Germany, Austria, and Switzerland with a strong B2B and as well B2C market. And to get access to the European Union, especially also to the gate to the Eastern European countries. Then framework conditions as stability, security, the legal framework, and also efficient public administration, for example, in the field of e-government. Also, Austria is in the European Union pretty high. Also, Austria offers qualified and flexible employees, innovative technologies, and competitive business environment, and also finance and support, especially for startups, for funding possibilities, for accelerating, and also for doing research and development. Here you can see this strong purchasing power. Here the European Union and Austria, it's 128%. So Austria is one of the richest countries as well of the European Union. Austria is really good to get access to the European Union, and the largest market is the German-speaking market. There are over 100 million consumers, for example, here in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, because it's one common market. And then you have the common market of the European Union with the 27 member countries. Austria is also good for startups because the office rents, especially in Vienna, are significantly lower than in other capital cities, for example, as well in Rome, Brussels, or Berlin, or London, here you can see, or as well Hong Kong and Amsterdam. Austria as well offers for international companies and startups as well an investor-friendly tax system. The corporate tax is 25%. The modern group taxation, the tax premium for R&D, this is 14%. There's no trade tax, for example, as in Germany, and no wealth tax. And there is also double taxation treaties with India, with Bhutan, and Sri Lanka as well. Here you can see the moderate taxation on profits. At the moment, Austria has 25%, but in the next years, it's going to reduce to 23%. And you can see UK on rank 3, but in the UK and the United Kingdom, it's raising up to 23%. And it's not member of the European Union anymore. So you're only targeting an island. Most common for setting up a company is a limited liability company, a LLC. It can be done by one person. Shareholder can be the person or the legal entity in your home country. It's not necessary as an Austrian citizenship or domicile or place of residence, and the managing director can be any citizenship. The regular GmbH or company of LLC is with 35,000. We'll put in the half in a bank account, or most common for startups are the privileged GmbH, where you have to put in 10,000 euros and 5,000 euros in the bank account. And also you need a TRICE license, and there is a distinction between free trades or regulated trades. And the commercial registration usually takes about 2 till 3 weeks, it depends. Then what Austria has to offer is also talent, highly qualified and productive personnel. Productivity is 16% above the EU average. Its motivation rank rank 2 worldwide. One unique feature is the dual system of education and apprenticeship. For example, in the vocational schools, you can easily, in the HAK or HTL, these are unique, you can easily hire during the school, for example, engineers who work during their apprenticeship in your company or your startup, and later you can hire them. Austria has also a close and dense network of private and public universities and applied sciences, and a modern and flexible labor law. It means in Austria you don't need a reason to hire a person, and it's easy to hire and fire a person. It's not like in Germany where it's very difficult. Here you can see also New Austria, the largest foreign communities. They mostly are living in Austria and working in Austria. They are from Germany and other Eastern European countries, or as well as Italy. And here the research expenditures, and they are above average. For example, here you have in the median the European Union in the years, and also Austria. And the research expenditures are the second highest, is 3.23, after Sweden in the whole European Union. So in comparison to 27 member states. Funding of R&D is unique in Austria. It's one big advantage, especially for startups. There are direct incentives. This is a mixture between cash grants and subsidized low interest rate loans. They are mostly project based and you can get back 60%. Then there are indirect incentives and the research premium. This is a tax credit with 14%. It means if you spend 100 euro, you get back 14 euros from the Austrian state. And also for the costs of staff, materials, and outsourced Austrian research institutes. And it's done mostly by the FFG. This is the sister company of the Austrian Business Agency. This is the Research Promotion Agency. And it can be done by the tax advisor every year. Then most sectors which are common for startups are the fields of ICT in Austria. Here you have 290,000 employees. The contribution is 8.6 of the GDP, and the research quota of 15 to 20%, and it's going to increase in these fields. As well, another important sector is life science in Austria. Here you can see the turnover with 22.4 billion euros, and also the research expenses. And in Austria, there are 970 companies in this field. Here you can see the Austrian startup ecosystem. It's also good to know in general, with angel investors as Startup 300, or where you can get grants. Also the FFG is mentioned, or the Vienna Business Agency, the venture capital funds, crowdfunding like Conda or Green Rocket, it depends on the startup. Then incubators as INITS in Vienna, for example. Accelerators as the Raiffeisen Elevator Lab. Then the community, then co-working spaces, for example, in Vienna, it's the Talent Garden. It's also a big co-working space, and major event as the 4 Game Changer Festival, and also the later presented by Mrs. Zhang, the Vienna Up. Then here are some examples of startups. For example, Kaleido AI. It's renowned for visual AI for everyone. It was founded 2019 in Vienna, and it's sold to an Australian company, Canva, and they acquired this startup. Now it's a unicorn, and it was one of the largest investments, over 100 million euros in Austria. Some other Austrian companies or startups are BitMoving. For example, 50% of all internet videos are based on this BitMoving technology, and they win also an Emmy for innovation in online broadcasting. Or as well, Tourada. It was founded 2010. It was an online marketplace for travelers, and in Series B funding they got 2018 40.5 million euros, and yeah, 40,000 tours are available, and 2,000 different tour operators. And here we have some Indian investment cases which have done investments in Austria. For example, these are large companies. You may know them, or they are well known, like Wipro, like ESEST, like Product in the ICT field, or the Tata Consultancy, and in other fields. And what services can the Austrian Business Agency do for you? We assist you with site selection, help to find you the right sites or office location. We assist you with our broad networks of lawyers, tax advisors, with labor law questions, tax. We assist you also with funding and financing to give you an overview which would be suitable for your startup or your company and programs you can apply for, and to bring you in touch with the FFG, the Research Promotion Agency, or the regional agency, and also in the field of aftercare. If you already set up business and plan to expand, we help you with the troubleshooting and dealing with authorities. So thank you very much for your attention, and thank you.
Thank you very much. And now we move to Ms. Jennifer Zhang, International Business Director, Vienna Business Agency. Over to you, Ms. Zhang.
Thank you very much. Thank you also to Jacob. He has already presented a lot about Vienna. And yeah, let's now, I will focus more about the situation in Vienna. Here you can see one of the best organized city, and we have 37% of the inhabitants from outside of Austria, and the GDP, the Vienna is one of the most rich city in whole Europe. Next, please. Yeah, so here you see the map, and you can see that geographically, Vienna is located really in the, at the heart of whole Europe. And we have a very good benefit of the public transport. With 3 hours, you can fly to all main cities in Europe. And one most important thing I can mention here is also if you travel with from the center of Vienna to the international airport, you can only use 16 minutes. So it's very convenient for business people. Next, please. Vienna is also one of the international hubs in whole Europe. Vienna is politically military neutral, and we have also the UN, United Nations headquarters in Vienna. And because of that, we have more than 25,000 of expats from 90 countries in Vienna. So we have also 14 international schools, and more than 200 languages would be spoken in Vienna. Next, please. Now I mention the most important 5 strengths field of Vienna. The first one is life science. The second one is digital technology. The third one is smart and urban technologies, smart production, creative industry. All these 5 fields, we have a lot of startups, and then they also can get a lot of benefits from the government, support from the city government and the federal government. Next, please. Here, I want to focus something about the ICT sector, because ICT sector, we have in the last years, more than 5, we have 3 unicorn in last 3 years. So in this field, we have a lot of new startup champions. Next, please. So Vienna is also focused on digitalization. So here are some facts and figures. Only one sentence I want to mention here is, you see ICT revenue is 4 times higher than in the tourism industry. Maybe everybody think Vienna is a city of music and tourists, but no, the ICT sector is more important, and they make the revenues four more times than the tourism industry. Next, please. Yeah, so you see, this is some figures of the turnover. Of course, we hope more and more ICT international companies can come to Vienna. Most of them will be startup. I will mention about the startup benefits and incentives later. Next, please. FinTech location, this is only one. I want to just show you some big players. CBP, Finest, and Bitpanda are working in the FinTech location. We have today also one champion of FinTech startups, yeah, in our as our speakers. Next, please. Life science and e-health, I have mentioned. This sector will also get very strong support from the government. Most of them are spin-off from the university and also from very well-known research institute. Next, please. Next, please. You will get this information. I just want to save time. You will get this information all about with listed here are the big player companies. They are not big company, but they are very important startups and very successful startups in Vienna. Next, please. Next, please. Sorry. Yeah, the IT security. So we, the whole ICT sector in Vienna are covered about fintech security and big data and all this field. And some of them in the last years becoming unicorn with the support of government. Yes, AI, yeah, artificial intelligence is also a very booming sectors. You have here the link. You can get more information about these big players. Next, please. Blockchain, AI, all has to do with fintech. So I don't want to get too detailed into this. Next, please. Now I want to give some words about my organization and the service package. Vienna Business Agency belongs to the city government. We have three main pillars. The first one is funding. We have 35 million per year. And real estate, we can offer real estate for small companies and small offices. And the third one is multilingual and free of charge consultancies. Next, please. Yeah, so about funding, we have very variety fields which company could get funding, not only local companies, but also international companies. These days, in the last years, we begin also more and more supporting in the startup sector. Next, please. So real estate, I just want to explain what that means. Vienna Business Agency is also involved in the city developing process. That's why we are also one of the big owner of some real estate in the city, and we can build buildings, offices with the newest technology, and then rent them to startups or companies, small companies, or if they need grant to manufacture, we can also offer them with very good condition. Next, please. Consultants. Yeah, the Vienna Business Agency, we have 170 people and speaking now 18 languages. A lot of us are native speakers, and we have a very good network internationally. And we have here the consulting, most of the consulting are company formation and international and technology services to build up international company to the local companies, and creative business, of course, because of the name of Vienna, we are very strong in creative industries. Next, please. This is my office, yeah, the international business department. We have three very important tasks. The first one is actively promotion the business location Vienna worldwide. The second is acquisition and support the international company or investors when they come to Vienna. The third one is, of course, most important is the expatriate. For example, the visa supporting, how to get visa and supporting the visa for the expatriate and their families. Next, please. Yeah, so next, please. So just as Mr. Jacob Shinjich mentioned, we also do a lot of supporting, especially for the supporting for the expats, because the most crucial problem for the newcomer are the visa and residence permit, working permit. So in Austria, because of the law, this part of the job will be done in the local government. So the Vienna city government are very important to help to give the support for family and for the expatriates. So here we have the expat center, and this picture shows our expat center. We are already we have built this office in 2010, so we are now very experienced already in this field to support this newcomer and international companies and the persons to feel free and feel comfortable when they just come to Vienna. Thank you very much. Yeah, why Vienna? I just want to generally to say why Vienna. The first one is, of course, of the legal political stability, because we are neutral in military and neutral in politically. And of course, of the international, we have the UN hub also in Vienna, and we have 200, as I mentioned, 200 more than 200 language spoken in this city, and we are very open, and of course a lot of culture, different kinds of religion and peace, and we have the lowest criminal rate in whole Europe, and we have the world-class education and university. We have 14 universities and also private universities, and we have also international schools to supporting international company and their personal and also their family to feel comfortable living in Vienna and starting in Vienna. And of course, last but not least, also our expat center can give them really a lot of strong help, especially in the beginning. So the last slides will be my contact detail. Yeah, and I think AJ, Mr. Singh will share my slides with you with more information. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Zhang, for your sharp presentation. And we are lucky to have you with us today. And I'm sure people listening to you all over Asia would be benefited with your experience, expertise, and wonderful offers. May I remind our audience, you can ask a question via chat function, and I will bring it to the panel after the presentation. Be ready. And finally, we move to our expert, John Shen, founder and CEO, Yoli.io, formerly Sensio.at. And before that, I would like to have a video of Mr. John explaining about the Austrian help for startups.
When moving to Vienna, creating our startup is like assembling an orchestra or a band. You need great developers, dynamic marketing experts, and passionate product people. If you bring them all together, that's when the magic happens. My name is John Shen, the founder and CEO of Yoli.io, and the magic is happening right here in Vienna, the perfect place to start your adventure. Here you're presented with rich ecosystems, vibrant founders networks, grants, and an agency that guides you to create that masterpiece of your dreams.
May I request Mr. John Shen to come and start. Thank you.
Hey guys, nice meeting you. Thank you, Mr. Singh, and thank you, Jennifer and Jakob, for the introduction. And yeah, like I just would like to share with you guys about our journey to Austria. So hi everyone, my name is John from Yoli.io. So a little bit about myself. I'm a Chinese, and I was educated in New Zealand. I was as a developer, and in about 2016, I started my first startup in Shanghai, back home in China. And that time, we were looking at expanding globally, and that's when we actually found Austria as a possible place to find our company. And ever since then, we have settled here in Vienna, and we have developed a new brand, a new business use case, and we have been growing ever since. So basically, I was just like one of you, getting introduced to Vienna, Austria as a startup hub. Really get to learn it. I've gone through every single step from like getting the visa ready, setting up the company, and getting the grant and get the company really running. So a little bit about what we do. So basically, Yoli is a SaaS platform. It is a financial management platform. Basically, we're trying to help businesses, especially the small business overseas, to solve one of the biggest problem they have dealing with finance. Most of the small business look at finance, just think it's all about accounting, it's all about doing taxes and pay as little tax as possible, but not really knowing what is going on financially. You know, like they would doing it all for tax accounting, but not taking it to the next step and making the real-time decisions. So it is in our passion to combine the experience of financial analysis, accounting, as well as banking in one place to really reduce the cost and the number of tools required to cover your basic need. Next slides, please. So in Europe here, we are really bringing down the cost of monthly cost of spending that day or two of accounting day to very minimal per month, lowering down the cost of your accountant, and really getting just one tool, and then you can still have a real-time reporting. Actually, 2 slides, please. Next 2, yeah, keep on going. And by now we have about 2,000 business worldwide. That include actually we have a lot of users in India. So yeah, you can check out our product if you want. It is free to register, and you can play around and see how it goes. So let me, sorry, the previous slide, please. All right, so let me go take us back a little bit and really share our journey, how we really got here. So with my previous startup, is a Shanghai-based company, and that time we have very different business model. We were selling license solution, project-based to big corporates like these customers before. That time we were about like 30 people. Just raised our seed round. At that time, I personally was very passionate of utilizing our technology and expanding to the market outside of China. As you guys may all know, China is quite isolated on its own. So whatever the solution we have in China need a bit of a tweak and a bit of change in direction to really focus on the global market. So we started to seek as a different spot for us to be able to do that. And yeah, and we were actually invited to Vienna from one of the program from FFG. So I was in Vienna for 2 weeks, exploring and then connecting with different business hubs and potential customers, and that's where our journey started. Next slides, please. So yeah, this is a brief journey of what we have been to. So from the first visit in the May of 2018, from a program called GIN, which is still available, and for you guys who are interested, welcome you guys to check it out. And later on, we joined a program in the same year with the Vienna Business Agency of Vienna Startup Package, which is still a running program. And that really helped us to build relationships as required. We had actually a lot of chat with Jennifer back in the days to really understand the legal requirement of becoming residents and the logistics of setting up company and getting grant at the same time. So there is a bit of shuffling of priorities in order to really get your business running as fast as possible, as well as getting all these legal side sorted. So some of these I want to point it out and just share from our experience how we went through each of the steps. Next slide, please. So why did we pick Austria? I mean, one thing that we realized at the time, EU is a perfect place for our solution because our solution offer a direct bank connection, and our user can just connect, and the bank account information will flow into the system, and thus helping them to do accounting. And Europe has this PSD2 initiative, which actually allow us to use aggregators that our customer can just have that one-click connection. So that's our particular reason. In fintech, this specific use case, Europe is great for us. And one thing that we find out ourselves as outsider of EU is within EU, doesn't matter where you set up, you have no friction of doing business elsewhere. So whether we set up in Germany or Austria, is nevertheless we can reach the entire EU market as if it's the same country economically. So that's really beneficial to us. And the reason we pick Austria is because of the good relationship we could build right in the first few months that we were here. But most importantly, compared to Germany and France, Vienna very welcoming. Sorry, Austria in general and Vienna also are very welcoming with startup, and they have a lot of good grants options. So for new startup, there's actually very I wouldn't say easy, but very the possibility is quite high for a good startup to get equity-free grants, like from low of 50,000 to all the way up to €1 million, to really boost your company without actually you having to give the equity away. And that is super helpful. Like this really helped us. We got one of the grant from FFG, I think over like at the high hundreds of thousands, that really helped us to build our team and really build a fundamental of our technology ahead of time before we have to bootstrap and testing out the market, which is really, really beneficial. Another thing I want to mention is even till today, it is kind of embarrassing because I'm too busy with the business. Even till today, my German level is still not that great, but that was not the friction to do business. And that is why the reason, like now, my German is still just picking up, but to run our business day to day, we use English and everyone speak perfect English here. And there's no friction of running business. I'm just speaking English. Next slide, please. Yeah, so I want to share a little bit about how we set up the company. As Jakob mentioned earlier, you could set up a GmbH even without being a resident here, but for us as a startup, it makes sense that me as the CEO and the core founder to be based here. So in order to do that, I need to apply residency, and as a startup founder, there's a category that you can apply for. It's called Red White Red Startup Founder category. It is actually not a difficult process. But very few people has gone through it. I actually write up a blog about it. Again, afterwards, grab my details. I can share the link. And yeah, this is a very interesting journey. But the process makes sense. You write business plan. You showcase some early success of your startup. You get some local confirmation from Austria that your idea would work, and the success rate is quite high. And that's, if anything, that's the only friction maybe to start a company. Everything else is rather simple. Yeah, so this is about the visa. You get this red. And for my case, I'm already married with kids, so I can bring my family with me here as well. There's a bit flying back and forth in the beginning, but eventually after half a year, about a year, we moved the family over without any problem. Yep, next slides, please. And yeah, as I mentioned earlier, there are 3 major grants if you're located in Vienna that you can apply for. They all have different focus, where to sum it up, FFG is more heavy, high-tech research focus, because we have AI-powered engines, so we applied for FFG basis program. At the same time, there's some grant that we also applied with VBA and got them. That help us to grow, either internationally, or they have a target focus on digital marketing. And AWS is another one, like they're more company focused rather than project focused. But what I just want to mention is we applied for these even before my residency was approved. Before, I think it's after my company was founded, but before my residency is approved, and we applied it in English. So it is a very international program. There's no, there's no discrimination. The fact that it's in English, there's no resistance whatsoever that you are from a foreign country and this idea was approved in a foreign country. It's more about the business and the robustness about the business and what you have proven for traction. Next, please. So as I said before, there are plenty of incubator accelerators, some privately run and others as Jakob and Jennifer already mentioned. And there are even programs from Vienna Business Agency itself. So these programs will actually give you a local stamp of approval for both of the grants and for getting your visa sorted. So, and they are generally good to introduce you to the local ecosystem, to the local investors, to the potential customers, and a lot of them have a demo day, so you have the stage to really announce your product and services. So they're brilliant. If you guys consider really getting started, these are the program worth checking out. Next slides, please. Yeah, so once you have the company running, you may want to bring your worker from India or from other country here. They're actually pretty easy. I've worked in New Zealand before for many, many years. I would have saying the visa requirement here in Austria at least is comparatively easy. It does take a bit long time post-COVID. But the requirement, especially for the tech, the IT industry or the high tech industry, there is no resistance. And anyway, you could hire locally. There's enough talent within the EU that you can provide jobs to. So both options are available. I wouldn't dive into too much taxes. My CFO have better ideas. I think I think they're pretty standard. The local, how would I say, that the welfare system has been really good for the employees. So the tax on the employment and the social benefit is slightly on the higher side, but it's not any extraordinary compared to other EU countries. And plus, like as startup, you can get some rebate on R&D tax payment for your personnel. And in the beginning, last slide. So in the beginning, we could not have gone through a lot of the things we have in the beginning without these helps. Both ABA and VBA are presented here today. We simply just reach out to them, and the appointment is literally, we make a call, we get an appointment, and we will get the different type of helps as necessary in the beginning. So they're of great helps, and I want to thank both Jakob and Jennifer for the years of support that we have. And but yeah, they are there to help and reach out to them. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so the last slide, these are my contact details. I don't mind people contact me directly. As I said, I wrote some posts, and there's even some YouTube videos I did for the gym program about diving into details about the things I talked about. So happy to help another startup who want to go through the same journey we go through, and from a startup founder to another. Wish you guys the best success and keep on grinding. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sen, for your video and the amazing presentation. And now the exciting time for the Q&A session. To all the speakers, please turn on your cameras and we will start the Q&A session. And this will be in and around Startup Connect Austria. I would like to ask Ms. Zhang first. We have a question on visa and residency options. It's typical, but what are the options for startup moving to Austria in visa and residency options, and how do you help them? And also there is a sub question in hiring local talent into the Vienna especially.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you also again for John. Your presentation is already very variety about the real experience as a startup in Vienna in the last 3 years. Yeah, I think we know each other already more than 4 years, right? Yeah, so at the first moment, I have the honor to accompany you, and of course also a message for all audience. If you come to Vienna, I'm the regional manager for Asia at the Vienna Business Agency. You will get free of charge a consultancy from us, of course also ABA too. And come back to the question, of course, the most crucial point or the obstacle for a newcomer, any kind of newcomer outside the EU, is the visa situation. I don't want to avoid to say Austrian is also the same as a lot of other EU countries. We have still a little bit bureaucracy, but the agencies like us and the ABA, we can give you guidance, yeah, and to based on our experiences. So, for example, for startups, we have already a lot of officially promoted residence title, but upon our more than 10 years experiences, we can guide you to find the optimal way. So normally, the first talk with us is very important. Yeah, you can feel very free to write us, to contact us with an email. Then we arrange a meeting. I can do that only as Vienna Business Agency. I can also do that with Mr. Jakob Chenjic together to give you a guidance. Of course, we also want to find out what's the situation because every company, every person has the different situation. So because the residence title, we have a lot, yeah. Maybe AJ can also share the residence permit. We have a very good government link, but as a foreigner, you cannot find a way. So we can talk through the first talk. You don't need to have afraid of the time. We do not have time limit. Yeah, you can feel really free to contact us, and we can use this talk to find out the best way for the certain company or certain person how you can get easily the documents which you need and what kind of funding or grants possibility for your sector, because as John mentioned, he's from the fintech sector and he is a very successful startup already abroad. Yeah, so these tiny issues is also very important to know. So that's why my message is very clear to talk to us at first, so we can find out the best optimal way for you and also the suitable incentive program.
Thank you, Ms. Zhang. And there is a question on energy adoption roadmap, technology adoption by the resident and corporates in Vienna. What is the incentive for solar energy companies, especially in Vienna or in Austria? So this question goes to both of you, Mr. Jakob and Mr.
Yeah. Okay.
Should I start with Austria in general and then you go to Vienna?
Yes,
yeah, because in Austria there are incentives also for renewable energy. Our government because the Green Party is part of our government. They promote it as well in the field of solar energy. And you can get, if you put in solar panels or do something, a startup in the field of energy, you can also get a lot of incentives. There is another, which was not mentioned as AWS, it's KPMG. It's also an agency of the Austrian government who assists in the field of e-mobility, photovoltaic, solar, hydrogen, etc. And also, if in the field of hydrogen or solar panels, the FFG have also programs. And but yesterday, and Jennifer may know that the city of Vienna have also a new incentive if a company.
Yes.
The stage is yours. You can present this.
Yeah, I can talk a little bit. The first sentence, some words about the background. Vienna, as I show in my PowerPoint, 5 key sectors. Yeah, one of that is any technology has, or any solution which has to do with urban development. Everybody know Vienna has already in one row 10 years the most livable city of the world. The reason is, of course, also the usage of the newest technology, and one of that is the energy technology. So the green technology is a focus of the government in Vienna, city Vienna. And as Jacob said, yes, of course, also because of now the news situation, the crisis of Ukraine and Russia, we now more focus on the alternative energy sector, alternative energy solution. Yeah, this has already been a focus in the past years, more than I think 15 years. Austrian and Vienna government play very attention about this sector, but now it's really a focus of our government. So in the next years, even in the next months, more and more government incentive program will be launched. Yeah, so Vienna, for example, this newest incentive is for company who could use their company floors, company fields to install more photovoltaic installations. Yeah, so you will get more support, financial support or grants from the government. Yeah, come back. Also, some words about the grants. AWS, which John mentioned before, is in fact like a bank. Yeah, so you can get very good condition of some credits from AWS. The grants from Vienna Business Agency, most of our grants, we are not a bank, so they are non-refundable. So they are really grants. You don't need to pay back. Yeah, and of course for company, most of the grants or most of the incentive programs are placed for company already setting up in Vienna, but nowadays, we also want to attract more and more startups, excellent startups to come to Vienna. That's why we can also give grants or incentive programs to company who has not settled in Vienna, but you have to guarantee when you get the money from the government or tax money, you should set up your company in 6 months. This is just an example.
May I add something? Yeah, it's also the possibility, because AWS is the bank for loan and grants, but it also is the possibility, but it really depends on the product, to get seed and pre-seed for the application, but always under the condition that you are at least a company under formation. This is most important, yeah, because they need it, and it depends on the business and on the sector. And really important is also a good pitch deck or a business plan, because they always will need it at FFG as well.
Yeah. There's a follow-up question on from Rishi. In the field of life sciences and veterinary, is there any specific grant or any special initiative in life sciences and veterinary?
Life science and
veterinary.
Yeah.
Medtech. Yes. we call this sector is life science sector. One is pharmaceutical development, one is medical equipment. I think generally, as I know, since I'm working for Vienna government already more than 15 years, most of the incentive program are given to this research intensive sector. So life science is one of that. Yeah, as also I mentioned in my slides, life science is the #1 sector, strategic and also focus sectors in the city Vienna. So nowadays, if you are a company who has very good solution in the life science sector, the possibility to get grants or get incentive program or any other financial support is very high.
Yeah. And one question on the recycler business, especially in metal scrap. What do you think, both of you, about this startup?
Yeah, recycling become more and more issue at the moment. Some colleagues of mine are dealing with other startups, I guess, from the European Union or from the United States, I guess, in this field of sector, and it's become more and more crucial. And even there is a new in Austria repair bonus where you can get, if you let recycle or repair something, you get the bonus from the Austrian state as well. This is also a new incentive. So they're also dealing with this, and it is possible to do this and set up this business in this.
Okay. Yeah. Please add.
Some additional information from the cities, Vienna. We are already very well known, and the city using also by themselves a lot of recycling technology. That's why any kind of recycling technology or solutions are very welcome to settle your business in Vienna. Regarding the incentive, if before you setting up your business, if you apply for any kind of incentive, we will give focus on the innovation. Yeah, so if you are really a new solution, an innovative idea, you can even get the financial support or grants before you setting up your company. If you are just some other recycling technology, the city government is very supporting this sector. So just go ahead and contact us, Jacob and me.
One more on EdTech sector. I can see like I have just less than 100 questions, so I will forward it to you. But one more on EdTech sector. What are the subsidies, grant opportunities for EdTech?
EdTech or AJ?
EdTech, education technologies.
Yeah, EdTech. Yeah, we call it in Austria EdTech, not EdTech. EdTech. Yeah, it's becoming more and more a sector. For example, there's one by a niche startup who do EdTech. It's called Go Student, and it's one of the largest unicorns. And this sector is really increasing in whole Austria, for example. Not only in Vienna, but Go Student is, I guess, the most common because they offer for students and at schools trainings if they are not so good in this. And Go Student is, I guess, it's the best example of to getting an Austrian unicorn, and they accelerated and get investments from everywhere now, and it's really growing. This what I not mentioned, there is a EdTech hub as well, unfortunately not in Vienna but in Salzburg, but EdTech is everywhere in Vienna as well, and it's also increasing and increasing. And I know many Indian companies, companies from Bangladesh or Bhutan, Nepal, they are doing an EdTech, and I'm dealing also with some companies or startups from India, for example. They are also in the field of EdTech, and they could set up business already.
Yeah. One question is very interesting, and this is for Mr. Shen. What kind of technologies or services are hot sector to look into Austria for the foreign founder especially?
Sorry, what kind of technology are the hot topic?
Like what kind of technology or the sectors, the startups should look into Austria? Like, what are the hot sectors they can look into?
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I think, yeah, like we think fintech is cool, but I think there's actually a lot of creative industry that we have seen that are quite unique for the city itself, and we've seen quite a few startup coming this way. Yeah, and I think in terms of technology in general, I think AI is still like a hot topic. I mean, there's the whole cryptocurrency, but you know, like it's not something that that I like we do. But I think it's quite. I don't think there's anything unique for Austria itself, other than the creative industry. But I think in general, it kind of reflects what is the hot topic in the world right now, because Vienna is very international.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I just. The hot topic is just, I can just say the main which I mentioned, these 5 key sectors. Yeah, so life science is one, and of course ICT. ICT covered all modern technology. Yeah, cybersecurity, AI, blockchain, and all other e-health technology and big data. All this kind of ICT, yeah, technology are hot topic. And of course, any kind of topic with energy, yeah, we said this is a smart city solution, urban development. That's why it has to do with energy consumption and energy saving, or new energy idea, new alternative energy solution. Any kind of recycling belong also to that, yeah, and the creative. Of course, creative industry also that, and smart manufacturing, yeah, it's also one of the hottest sectors. Of course, most of the successful unicorn of startups in the last 3 years are focused in the ICT sectors, ICT and life science, of course, life science.
To add this shortly, because digitalization, AI is nearly everywhere. This can be in edutech, this can be in agrotech, which is also, or as well in food tech. If there is AI, so nearly every startup is welcome in Austria and Vienna.
Perfect. I have lots of questions, so I will maybe forward you all the questions of all the participants. And now I request Mr. Hans-Jörg Nagel to tell us about the upcoming event. Thank you very much. Thanks for the lovely audience on all the panelists. Thank you.
I would like to mention the upcoming events we're organizing as from the Austrian Trade Commission. One is the AHA, the International Food Hospitality Fair, from 26th of April to 30th of April of this year. And we have 6 Austrian companies participating there. I hope we can welcome you there. And as I mentioned before, from end of May, we're organizing I call it Incubators. It's a trade delegation to Austria from Hyderabad. We have an interesting group of startups from the Telangana state visiting Austria. The thing is organized by us in cooperation with the Austrian Federal Economic Chamber and the regional chambers in Austria. And as I mentioned at the outset, any further information you need from Austria, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us.
Thank you very much. This is the end of our webinar. We look forward for your question. Thank you.